Hello there, and welcome back to a Star Wars story. Today we're looking at the mysterious Inquisitor, Merrick, that will make their debut in Ahsoka. The character does not have any known pronouns yet, although he does appear to be male. I've been referring to him as male. And in terms of staying as spoiler-free as possible, we're going to read his Star Wars databank entry. Once an Inquisitor hunting Jedi for the Empire, the mysterious Merrick now works as a mercenary hired by Morgan Elsbeth to carry out dark deeds. Done dirt cheap. Fully encased in battered battle armor, the warrior still carries a red, double-bladed lightsaber with a circular hilt. Now, for those of you who don't know, The Force Unleashed starred a character known as Starkiller, whose real name was revealed to be Galen Merrick. Again, spelled differently, but sounds similar. This led to a massive theory where the Inquisitor Merrick may actually be revealed to be Sam Witwer's Starkiller, simply adapted for canon. But Merrick, the name, M-A-R-R-O-K, actually originated with the story of King Arthur. In this story, there was a werewolf known as Sir Merrick who had been turned into a werewolf by his wife, and remaining in werewolf form was also due to his wife. This was because in Arthurian legend, a werewolf was required to remove all of their clothing before making their big transformation. However, they would not be able to return to their human form unless they had their clothing back. They wouldn't be able to put their clothing back on while still in were form, of course, but they did have to be standing relatively close to the clothing, and the clothing still had to be in somewhat good condition. Sir Merrick's simple job of finding his clothes and changing back to human form was made a bit more difficult by his wife. She hid his clothes for 7 years, forcing him to remain a werewolf for that long. Not having your clothes to change back to a human was one of the worst fates that could befall an Arthurian werewolf. However, avoiding the change couldn't be done simply by not getting undressed. The Arthurian werewolves were just like other werewolves in that they felt a compulsion to change and would be obsessed with it until the change actually took place. These werewolves, however, could make will rolls that would delay the change, but it wouldn't stop it from happening altogether. And even though this aspect of Arthurian werewolves is somewhat in keeping with what we know of werewolves today, these werewolves did not have any superpowers or super strengths. A silver bullet would probably harm them, as would any other bullet. In fact, a weapon of any sort would cause damage to an Arthurian werewolf. They were, in fact, just wolves. Just wolves that could go from being human to wolf and back again. This obviously leads to Filoni's love of wolves, which I have great respect for. My daughter and I adore wolves as well. But the name play and the relation to Galen Merrick and Merrick from Ahsoka has led many to draw a conclusion that this is going to be canon's adaptation of Starkiller, or at least some kind of loose translation of what Starkiller became after the fall of the Empire. There's a lot of different ways to look into it, and that's where I kind of want to know your perspective. What do you think is going to become of this Inquisitor, or are too many conclusions being drawn to the similarities of names? I know many of us want Starkiller to appear in canon, and one of the best ways for his introduction is as an Inquisitor. It was even discussed. Sam Witwer revealed this himself. There were very early talks to make Galen Merrick, Starkiller, the first Inquisitor, and that it would sort of act as a through line to connect it to the Secret Apprentice without being a secret apprentice. He would simply be at the top of the food chain in terms of the Inquisition, or the Inquisitorius. I know it's something that we all want to see adapted, especially following on from what Filoni has said, from what Sam Witwer has said over the years. It would be great to have this plot twist revealed, him be unmasked, and we see Starkiller. I am reserving myself a little bit. I don't want to get on that train too much. Currently, there are no significant clues that point to that, as far as I'm concerned, but it is a surprise that I would love to see. And I'm asking you, would you love to see it as well? And if not, how do you introduce Starkiller? It is something that I'm interested in. As a fan, what your perspective might be on that. How do you go about introducing Starkiller into the quote-unquote canon continuity of Star Wars that has been enacted? How do you keep the angle of the apprentice? Do you keep a secret apprentice? Do you simply look at it and go, we have the Inquisitorius, we have a significant order that he could be a part of, that he could be a leader of. That's a great place for him. What do you do with Starkiller in canon, and how do you bring about reintroducing him to Star Wars fans, especially given the game's age? We're talking about a game that came out in 2008. We are, yet again, 15 years removed from it. So what becomes of Starkiller in modern Star Wars canon? We don't want to lose him. I don't want to lose any of the characters that I fell in love with in the expanded universe. But we have to find ways to get them back into canon, and we have to keep being vocal about it to Lucasfilm. We have to let them know we want these characters back. It's how we got Thrawn. It's how we've gotten so many other references. It's how we're getting the Knights of the Old Republic remake. It's how we're getting Revan. We have to keep talking. We have to make it known. So if this Merrick isn't Galen Merrick, there's still a chance to get that character back. And I'm curious to know how you would approach introducing him into the Star Wars canon. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe and let YouTube know that the Force is strong with our channel. Above all else, and most importantly, stay safe, take care of others, and have a wonderful day. And remember, the Force will be with you always.